Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, whenever you're picking up on this content. Thank you for checking it out. I'm Jeremy Marquez with J Marqeting, with a Q, with no U. J Marqeting with a Q, but no U. Spell it out, think about it. My name is Jeremy Marquez. I just put a twist on it with my name. So, what matters about that is that's what I do. That's my company. If you guys aren't watching this stuff for the first time, I've been working with real estate professionals and sales professionals since 2011. At that time, it was in the corporate world and somebody else's dream as an asset to them. In 2016, I broke free from that and started my own thing. 2022, we have J Marqeting, and a couple of services that I provide are We Call You Close, which is a virtual nationwide ISA, VA, cold calling, appointment setting machine for agents, brokers, investors that want to work with more sellers. And by default, out of that, there will be buyers as well. But my focus has been working with you guys and converting data to lead to appointment, and then allowing you to do more of what you do rather than focusing on the prospecting. Because any successful, not just real estate but professional, you get to a point at some point with that success that it's just too much to continue doing all of the whole process, the entire sales cycle. So in order to scale, you have to start delegating, hiring parts of your business, right? So you can focus on more of what the money makes, the converting, the important hand in hand combat, right? Dealing with your clients one on one. And so literally 2 to 3 hours a day on the phone or on the dialer managing your data is not going to be easy, almost impossible to do once you start functioning at a high level. Now, I say the number, whether you're doing retail, if you're a wholesaler, if you're doing fix and flips, if you're taking listings, guys, you can only do so much as a one man band, one woman army. When it gets to that point, and I would say a fair number, like let's say if you're doing 3 transactions a month, right? That's when you're going to start feeling, okay, things are moving. I might not have time 6 days a week now to call every single morning, every single evening. I may not have that time. So now, as an intelligent business owner, whether I'm a real estate agent, a broker, an investor, a mortgage broker, whatever I'm doing, it makes sense now to start delegating parts of my business. Okay. So We Call You Close provides that service on different levels. We have exclusive one-on-one services. I have a group where in different markets, agents, brokers, and investors will get leads round robin. I say leads, but it could be, an appointment face to face. It could be an opportunity. Basically, there's different levels of that as well. I'm just giving you guys a broad umbrella. I have different videos explaining in more detail what these services are. If you're somebody who's just checking me out for the first time and you want to get details about that, just hit me up. We'll have a meeting this week and we'll discuss. But that's We Call You Close, okay? We call, you close. So J Marqeting provides that service. Now I do a lot of the work. I also have VAs and ISAs that I can delegate to as well here locally, around the country and around the world. Philippines, South America, Mexico. And see, I've been doing this since 2016. I've been able to network with hundreds, if not thousands, of like-minded professionals that are doing similar type work. Now, I'm not doing business with all of them, but if it gets to a point to where I can't handle my load, I take my own medicine. Okay, I'm over here preaching to you guys that it's important to learn to start delegating parts of your business. I need to be doing that myself, right? So when I get to a level where I can't handle it, then I start delegating. And so that's what I'm talking about, some of these new things that I'm rolling out. Also, the fact is, I'm backing off of the hand in hand combat as much and I'm focusing on doing my own investment deals. So the idea is to eventually roll into that full time. So we call you close as a machine that will continue to run, and I'm slowly figuring out ways to put automation on that, and it's great. Popping out leads on a regular basis that are getting into an appointment, and then they're going to be closed. And right now, in every single market, guys, the biggest issue for any real estate professional, the biggest concern, it doesn't matter what else you got on your plate, okay? It's the inventory. If you're a buyer, if you're a listing agent, but even if you're a buyer's agent, everybody is having the issue. There's only so much inventory, okay? You can't make somebody sell their property. Then here's the thing. A lot of these folks, it's a valid concern. One of these valid concerns, the biggest thing that I'm hearing on the phone, and I know if you guys are actively calling, and you're going to hear this probably multiple times a day. Yeah, Jeremy, okay, sounds great. We would like to sell, but where are we going to go, man? What's your plan for that? Are you going to build, so that's a intelligent. I've been talking to a lot of sellers that are in that position. Okay? It makes sense for them to sell. Tax reasons, net profits at the height of the market, property would sell quick. And there's a lot of positives to it, but the fact is, if that's their primary residence, where are they going to go? Unless they have a game plan to exit, like they're going to travel for a while, they're going to get the RV, if they don't mind renting, that. But here's the thing: on the front end, in my position, because I am not the agent, I am not the end. I'm not here to provide that solution. However, we can help create different ideas. But at the end of the day, guys, that type of a lead, you can't make somebody sell right now. Okay, you can continue to follow up and you can build that relationship. But here's the positive: that's a good problem to have. So it's one of those problems you deal with. You're at that next level already. All right. So I'm going to open up a couple of calls here. The idea behind this session was just to say, oh, so that's we call you close. And then you'll see in the summary, I've tagged power prospecting as well. So power prospecting is my process and my system that I've developed since I started doing this in 2016. So it's the system and the processes that I use. And so if you're one of those agents, investors, or brokers that is actively calling and you still have time and you're building your business, that's my program that I put together to help you guys learn how to do what I do and how I do it. We do that one-on-one, and then I also have different resources available as well. That's power prospecting. Okay. Now, personally, as I mentioned, I'm starting to do deals on my own when it comes to wholesale deals and looking for fix and flips. Eventually, using the Burr method, buy, renovate, rent, refinance, repeat. Right. That's the goal. But that's probably mid 23, 24. But right now, what's in front of us is I'm working with a couple of different investment firms, okay, in the Midwest and in Los Angeles, locally. That's on a personal level, and I'm doing this because that's where I'm leaning towards. And the best way to jump into something, yes, I'm coming with the side knowledge of already being in the trenches and calling and being familiar with the real estate game. But I need to be able to transition and start doing some stuff on the investment side, which is just a little bit different. So what I've done is I've partnered up with a couple of teams that are already crushing it, right? These guys are already wholesaling multiple deals a month. They're doing their own fix and flips. They already have rentals. So I'm coming in the acquisitions role and the marketing role and learning with them while I'm contracted to make calls with them as well. So that's awesome. I already got that rolled out. And so I've time blocked it out, and it gives me enough time to work on my own deals as well. So it's exciting stuff that's happening while I'm working with We Call You Close and Power Prospecting, which is pretty much something that's on and rolling. Deals will come to the surface through this that don't make sense for a retail situation, or it doesn't make sense for whatever reason, and then I'm going to look at it for my own, right? So I'm going to let's listen to a couple of calls. We made a few calls this week on the investment side. Now, this one's, I would say, there's a process that's in place, okay? It's a simple process, but you must stick to it because it works. I'm not coming in to reinvent any wheels. I'm jumping into a process and into a machine that's already functioning, and my goal is just to help improve the results. If that makes sense. Let me show you what I mean here. So, where's that call at? All right, here's a call I made, and I'll break it down. Let's see how it plays. Hold on real quick. If you guys are just tuning in, we're just doing a quick update, and I'm going to start playing some calls from this week, and then we're going to break it down. So let me go ahead and play this one. Now, if you have questions, comments, just want to say hello, please do so in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. If you can hit that like button if you're liking what you're watching. If you could share this, that would be great. All that little stuff that doesn't mean much to you while you're watching this stream. Hopefully, I'm giving you enough value to have you smash that like button and ask some questions here.
Hello?
So at the beginning, he's saying hello, it's recording, but I couldn't hear him.
Hello?
So luckily you didn't hang up, and that's what I mean. Out here in the Midwest, guys, these people want to talk to you. Like if they're not busy, and like they'll talk to you, even if they're not ready to do a deal. So you got to be careful with your time. See, he's still holding on.
Can you hear me? You there? Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. Jonathan? Yes. This is Jeremy. I was calling about your property on Fuller. I know I'm calling you out of the blue, but you still there? I am. Oh, okay. We're doing a project down the road there.
So in this case, I'm working a list that we've done. The team that I'm working with has done a project, so they did a wholesale deal down the road, and the end buyer is now doing the work on it.
And I was calling to see if you guys had considered selling with where the market is. We have. The problem is not selling, but buying the next place.
You see, you said we have, but the problem is not selling, but buying the next place. What I just talked about, guys, that's the main issue we're having out there. So what do? Do we hang up? No. We want to have a conversation and see what kind of relationship we can build.
With the way the market is. You're right. Depending on what you're trying to do and the scenario, that is an issue that we're, it's there. It's a fact. There's only so much inventory.
Now, I haven't listened to this playback yet, so you guys are listening to some raw and unedited stuff. I did know this call ended up being something that I'm going to follow up with and nurture, but let's see how it goes. And when it gets to the point when he starts giving out info, I'm going to mute it. So don't be playing with my leads.
If you guys did sell, what would the plans? I mean, what would you want to do ideally if there?
So I went right into it. So if you did sell, what would the plans be? So I'm just throwing out the situation because I want to get away from a yes or no. I want to hopefully get him to start talking. That's my only goal right here. Now that we're a minute into the call and he's on the phone, Oh, I know he's somebody that was at least going to speak to me, so let's see what he can say.
Perfect world.
Ideally, our next place will have a little bit of land. Um,
See, he's telling me the motivation.
so there you kind of have that toss-up of how far out of town do you want to be, but also get an affordable price on some land.
To build or
We are live on Facebook. Come on over and hang out. So he told me he's looking for some land, and I'm going to ask him to build or with a pre-existing structure.
some hopefully an existing structure.
But also get an affordable price on some land.
To build or hopefully an existing structure.
Hopefully an existing structure. I've been in remodeling, so even if
So hopefully an existing structure, and now he's going to break it down even more. So this is good. He's talking.
it were an old farmhouse or something, we could do an addition or rehab on. That's kind of the ballpark we're looking at.
Would you guys stay in the area?
So now we're in a conversation. This is good stuff. Even though he's saying in the beginning, remember a minute ago? Well, he threw me an objection that you need to just walk through, acknowledge it, and walk through it.
Yeah, we'd be in Kansas City someplace.
A million questions, right? Well, I guess I'm just trying to figure out the scenario, and yours is the same as everybody. Not everybody, but there's you're in a bucket with a lot of people that we work with. We're doing a project in the road. Basically, we buy as is, and we use investors. My name's Jeremy. I work with Joseph DeVantil. He's
Boom. Now I'm breaking down the umbrella. Now I want to remember that it's not about me here, okay? He doesn't really care too much about that, but I at least want him to know who we are and the connection of why I called. So I mentioned the project down the road. Guess what? Mentally, what's this doing is going to take his mind to look at that down the road, and so he's picturing it. And now I'm telling him a little bit about us, build some credibility, and let's see where I go with it. Put it back 15 seconds.
protecting the road. Basically, we buy as is, and
Let him know we buy as is.
we use investors. My name's Jeremy. I work with Joseph DeVantil. He's formerly with Keller Williams, and so we've been around for a little while. None of that really matters really to you, except for that we kind of know what we're doing when it comes to these and looking for specific properties. I guess where I'm going with this is, even though we have that issue, would you consider numbers as far as entertaining an offer if we were to hopefully try to figure out a scenario, maybe some creative type financing, or is it something down the line that you would look at? Where are you with that?
Straight up, just ask him, would you consider an offer?
You know, we're kind of down the line is where I'm thinking right now. But any numbers would be helpful if you guys have an idea of what you think would be a fair price.
Boom! Straight up, you said, all right, bring me some numbers.
Get where you're going, then I wouldn't mind hearing them. I mean, that just gives me more information.
Now, the key there, after I posed that question, was to let him talk. Sometimes you have that uncomfortable silence, and let's talk about that. Sometimes you're going to have that uncomfortable silence. I learned this when I was like 17, 18 years old in a cold call room. When you pose a question like that, where you're asking and hopefully waiting for an action or some sort of a decision, just zip it. Shut up. Because the first one to talk is usually who that's you want them to talk. Well, even if it's just you want them to say something, and that's and then that's your cue. And you'll hear this a lot. The power of pause. Learn to use it and when to use it. I'll do a training just on that, guys.
Information to base things on. Have an idea of what you think would be a fair price to get where you're going, then I wouldn't mind hearing them. I mean, that just gives me more information.
So he knows that because I already painted the picture, this would be an investment, that the numbers need to make sense to us. So now we're talking because he knows that if the offer that we come with is going to be with room for us to do what we need to do. And he just acknowledged that. So this is a great opportunity. Now we're 3 minutes into the call.
To base things on.
Even though we have that issue, that small issue in the beginning, which kind of seems big, it's really kind of a small issue because he's in the market. We can figure that stuff out. Okay, rent something. We can have put him in another We can help him find something. That type of thing is more than doable. So that's a great thing about when you work within real estate. When you're working with somebody, you got to be creative and be ready for all different types of options. Not saying you have to be an expert in everything and you have to do analysis paralysis and get stuck in learning, but have the vocab and be able to maneuver around. Now, I'm going to point this out. This is not a conversation that a VA from the Philippines will be able to have. This is not a conversation that somebody, unfortunately, is just reading off a script will be able to have. This is not a lead that they would be able to convert. This is the power of using more of a white glove executive level type ISA service like we call You Close, because this is not off of a script, you guys. This call would not be had with a normal VA that's reading a script.
Absolutely, and that was really the main goal of the call, not necessarily to have you do a deal here and now, but establish a relationship so you know who we are and what we do, and then
full transparency, and that's no BS. I'm straight up telling him, and I guess what? The more transparent and real about what you're trying to do with your people, the more deals you're going to do. Watch.
Tomorrow I can have Joseph, my partner, reach out with some actual numbers now that we know this is something that you would at least entertain. So why don't you tell me, is there anything major that needs to be done?
Now, we've established that. Now I'm going to ask a few questions. I'd like to establish something solid. It's good. We're in there. We're going to talk to him again. We've already established that. Now, I'm going to go ahead and dig in a little bit more to see maybe if he can give me anything about the property. And this really is just to get him to talk more.
Be done on the property that you can think of to get it to market value. We buy as is, but that remodel is...
Now, I could have just shut up right there because I asked him a question, and I tell my people all the time to be careful with this because now I'm asking him a double question. I'm gambling if I'm going to get answers on both. The safe bet here is to ask that initial question. Let me rewind it.
Tell me, is there anything major that needs to be done on the property that you can think of to get it to market value? We buy it.
So I asked him the question, is there anything major that you can think of to get it to market value? And then I barely paused for like a second. I should have just let him answer. And then I asked him another question. So look, guys, I'm human. And that's why I listen to these calls to help myself get better as well.
Buy as is, but that remodel is the biggest consideration that we take.
And so I not only asked a second question, but I even suggested an answer, which is something that I try not to do. Because now that I'm in a conversation with him, I want to just allow him to answer. And what it's doing is it's kind of showing insecurity on my confidence level on the question. If I was confident enough in my first question, I would have been able to pause and let him answer. So now that I'm listening, let's listen again.
Done on the property that you can think of to get it to market value. We buy as is, but that remodel is the biggest consideration that we take.
Yeah, the house is all basically done, ready for sale, except for the back deck would need a railing.
So he said the house is basically all done and ready for sale, but the back deck might need some railing. So now he's telling me that maybe it may not be a deal. Because now he's telling me that he's done a lot of work on it. And so guess what? It may not fit into our box of the type of properties that we're buying. So let's listen to it though.
So basically it's a 24 by 12 deck, and it would just need a handrail put up.
Have you guys had that quoted?
So I always kind of follow up on if he gives me some information on a repair. Okay. Have you got some numbers ran on that? Regardless if it's a handrail, painting, a toilet, granite counters, whatever. Let's get him to talk a little bit. Let's see what kind of research he's done on it, just to get him to see if he can throw some numbers out.
Yeah, I'm doing it myself, so for me it's just materials, and we're probably looking about $1,000 to get it all squared away and looking nice.
Gotcha. So as far as the insides, you guys have done all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I basically answered the question again while I was asking it. I need to pose my questions a little bit better here. Okay, she told me about the handrail. Is there anything else that you think you can think of? So let me see how I asked it, because let's listen to see how I posed the question, and then I'll tell you how I should have done it.
$1,000 to get it all squared away and looking nice.
Gotcha. So as far as the insides, you guys have done all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. And this is your primary residence.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Primary residence, that's one of those questions you tend to ask earlier. Is the property vacant or are you living there? That way you can kind of decide where you want to go with your questions. Now, this is, again, great that I'm listening to my own calls. So, guys, if we don't work together on a one-on-one level, I highly suggest you have your calls recorded so you can at least go back and listen to your own calls, or have one, maybe, a friend or your spouse or whoever listen to your calls and give you feedback.
Well, what's the best email? And we're going to run some numbers now, and tomorrow around this time, reach back out to you, just so you kind of know where you are.
All right, so now we're going to go into contact information, and of course, you guys don't get that. So that was one call that I made this week, and that's going to be one that we're going to be following up with this week and working with. Now, if it doesn't end up being a deal, that's okay. Going through the motions, going through the process, that's what we're doing here, and I will do my best to document it as much as possible. And so I'm doing this full blast now, guys. Not only on the retail side, but the investment side as well. There's a couple of markets that I'm opening up for We Call You Close. If you're an agent and you're a broker and you're not an investor, that's cool. That's the program that I was talking about that I'm rolling out in a couple of markets. We already started in Sacramento, in the Miami area, probably going to be Tampa area as well. Most likely Los Angeles is opening up in the Bay Area. And that's something that will grow because as more agents and brokers and teams come on board with that, I'll scale my team to be able to handle more calls. Simple. With that being said, guys, it is Super Bowl Sunday. If you're watching a replay, it's not Super Bowl Sunday, but I do appreciate you checking out the video. If you're interested in delegating some parts of your business, particularly prospecting, cold calling, getting leads generated and converted, that's what We Call You Close is available to do. Power Prospecting is my training program where I can just help you guys get better with what you're doing. If you guys want to work some deals on the investment side, hit me up. I'm not here in Sacramento, but I'm also working deals in a couple of different markets as well. Join the Discord. The Discord is something that will be another form of communication, especially on helping each other get better and have insights. I've created a room in there, which is a voice room, where we can all go in there and set up in kind of like a Zoom room, but it's not recorded. We're just in there making calls, and just kind of like when you walk into the office. You have other people that are like-minded who are all doing the same stuff, except for they are where they are in the world, and you are where you are in the world. So in the summary on Facebook, you should see that. On the replay, I'll post it. All that self-plug stuff, guys, I don't even like doing it. It's kind of like blah, 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 blah. But it's what keeps this side of things going, and I have fun with it too. So with that being said, it is Sunday, fun day, so get out there and have some fun. But it wouldn't hurt to put an hour of calling in. Have a good day.